This is the half Persian 4-in-1 tutorial which was requested, and here's an example of the chain. You can see that it's basically a series of overlapping loops. It's a very flexible weave as a result. It's also very challenging to get started, so I'm actually going to start by showing you how to continue the chain if you've already started it, so that you get an idea of the pattern before we go ahead and start the chain. So here you can see that there's a loose ring on the very end. And what you're going to do is actually skip that very last ring. So from here you're going to identify the next 2 rings over, and you're going to go through those rings, overlapping the other rings in the same pattern. It's a very consistent pattern, so just make sure you're following the overlap. Then you're going to twist the ring around so that it goes through the ring on the very end, and you can see it's in the inside of that ring. You're going to go ahead and pick up a closed ring, slide it over the end, and then I like to grip that side with my pliers in my right hand so that the newly added ring doesn't slip off. And then you go ahead and close the open ring. So keep this pattern in mind while we start the actual chain from the beginning, which is going to happen right now. You're going to need your 2 pairs of pliers, and you're going to need about the same amount of open and closed rings. This is the pattern, the overlapping pattern you're going to want to follow with the first set. So go ahead and take an open ring and add 4 closed rings, and then you're going to close the open ring. From here, you want to arrange the rings in that overlapping pattern that you saw earlier. So I like to split them up into a set of 2 on each end, and then just push the rings on the right so that they overlap left to right, as you can see here. And if you look at how the rings are overlapping, you can get a sense of the pattern that we're going to be following. You're going to go ahead and take an open ring, and again, just like the pattern I showed you earlier, you're going to skip the ring on the very end and go through the next 2. And you want to follow the same pattern as the other closed ring that's already through these 4 rings. From here, you're going to flip up and around, just like you would on that long chain version, so that the open ring slides through the closed ring on the very end. And again, it's going to be through that end ring so that the end ring is overlapping on the outside. You're going to add a closed ring to the end, and then go ahead and grip the open ring and go ahead and close it. This weave does get easier the longer the chain is, so the first time just work your way through it, and I suggest that you make extra length over your current project so that you can keep a tail or the end of the weave so that you can always build off of something existing. Continuing on with the weave, go ahead and note the ring on the very end. Again, take an open ring. You're going to skip the ring on the very end and go to the next 2 rings. You're going to go ahead and go through them, following the pattern of the other rings that are on the underside. Go ahead and twist the open ring around so that it goes through the ring on the very end, which is the one you skipped. And as you can see here again, that closed ring is on the very edge. You're going to pick up another closed ring and slide it on top. Then go ahead and grip the open ring and close it. From here, continue the pattern until the chain is as long as you would like it to be.